today, Rinpoche expanded on the 4 ways to gather disciples, showing that it's important, because of love and compassion, to allow one to be pleased that you wish to teach, and to present them with the perfection vehicle so that they have the appropriate information, and to show them the proper ways to meet their aims, and then yourself practice so you're not a hypocrite. The Jutsen Je Nipashengi Yumimba Je that's Rinpoche Jibja Juju Juni Samba Dua Nipa Natsuleson Jibja Juju Juni Yining Nipa Chichi Nipa lesson 4-way. Just want to make sure. Jibja Juju Juni Dene Shiso Nipa Chu Shir Dua Jir Nge Shina. Okay. The Jutsen. Sheso. Okay, Sheso, the Umma dan. 462. Sheso.
Hello.
Nipa.
Yeah. Nipa Jenju Meji. O Tata Imba Tatana. Tanga Soa Lare, Jibba Chungu La, Jibba Drink La, Jibba Chimbi La, Sonje. That Jibba Chungu La said that Jodu Ta.
The Gongel Mepachi, Rinpoche, the Ngay, the Karma Cheek, the Me Sarpa Kashi. I apologize. We got started a little earlier than 9. I didn't realize there was, I think, some new people here. So I just wanted to say welcome to the Chenrezig Tibetan Buddhist Center, anyone who hasn't been here before. Rinpoche is the retired abbot of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's monastery in Namgyal, holds the degree of Geshe Lharampa, which is the highest degree you can achieve in the Tibetan Buddhist Gelug tradition. And Rinpoche is really recognized, he doesn't like when I say this, but he's recognized by all the world's greatest scholars as one of the greatest living scholars in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. And it's inarguable based on his length of study, and being the abbot of Namgyal is one of the highest honors that anyone is given in the Tibetan lineage. So we're very fortunate to have Rinpoche here with us. Rinpoche is currently teaching Lama Tsongkhapa's great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment. It's in a 3-volume series in English. In Tibetan, it's only 1 volume, but now we're currently in the 2nd volume, and we're in page 226. The reason they are stipulated as 4 is where we are going to begin. Rinpoche, Chikshena the Kanga, the Nipa Shangi Ju Min Bar. Chikshena Kanga Chi. Okay, so we're going to actually start on page 225 and just begin this chapter, and just go through quickly the couple that we went through already. So that's where we're going to begin today. And this text, the great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment, is a text that was written by a master named Lama Tsongkhapa in the late 1300s, early 1400s, somewhere in there. I'm not good with that. And it's considered one of the most important texts ever written. And the reason for that is he was able to take all of the texts of the Kangjur and the Tanjur, the pronouncements of Lord Buddha, the authentic Indian commentaries, and summarize them in a format that was very easy to understand and palatable, and place them in the order that one would practice from the beginning of wanting to become a Buddha to becoming a Buddha. So it's really an all-inclusive text. We're very fortunate to have Rinpoche teaching this here. He's been teaching it for years, and he's really going line by line and explaining it. So that's what we're doing today. We had introductory prayers, as you saw, the first part of that section in the back of the book. It's tabbed off. It says Prayers for Teachings. At the end of the class, we'll use that again, and then there's like a few more prayers, concluding mandal offering and dedication prayer, Samantabhadra dedication, a long life prayer for Rinpoche, and a long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And that'll be at the end of the teaching. And right around 10:30, we'll have a question and answer session. So if you have any questions, please do ask them. We never know when we will have an opportunity again to ask the burning question that we need the answer to for our spiritual development, and have such a qualified person to answer that question. So that's it. My name's Jeff, and once again, I'm sorry to have interrupted Rinpoche, but I always want to make everyone know that we really value our students and new people, and that there is no class if there aren't students. So your participation is required in order for this teaching to go on. Tu chena Rinpoche, gonga me pachik.
Da lari de la jebe chungu la jebe ding jebe chibi la.
Less so.
What does something about tanga to kanju den the person mamudu was.
Less so.
Tanga so lu shega maras on tango maras.
Less so.
Jebe chungu la ding la jebe chibi la the what kanju den you can hear but what the is.
Less so.
What the ngaso what the kanju den you can hear but the ngaso lo jong what is.
Then a jipo son the lanji rimba the
kanju den you can hear them what is.
Okay. So the teachings are divided into these categories that are called the teachings shared in common with beings of three capacities, which are the teachings shared in, the teachings for beings of three capacities. And those teachings are the teachings shared in common with beings of small capacity, the teachings shared in common with beings of medium capacity, and the teachings for beings of great capacity. So we can divide all of the Buddhist teachings into those three categories. So it is said that behind me, just as a translator's notes, we have what's called the Kangjur, which are the pronouncements of Lord Buddha. There's 100 texts there. We have the Tanjur, which are the authentic Indian commentaries. There's 213 of those, I believe. And then also behind me, we have some Tibetan texts as well. We have the Lama Tsongkhapa's collection and Kirtip and Gyaltsab Je's collection, as well as some of Drepung Losaling's texts. But the Kangjur and Tanjur are really all that we consider the truth, scriptural truth. So all of those teachings can be summarized into these three categories. And it would be very hard for us to try to read the entire Kangjur and Tanjur, and to try to understand it would be almost impossible. But by understanding these three capacities and the meaning, we really do understand the essence of what the teachings in their vast fashion are intended to mean. Diksang Rinpoche.
Oh, then Singing Samalo Sanjia yours, and not so Sanjia yours. Sanjia you be using Garisana, and then also Sanjig yours. Genju read on Rajing Neri. In the Yuan and Ganga Sanjia yours. Ishuba ina Sanjia yore, Hindu ina Sanjia yore, and then Sanjil Yabu Marisigan ina Sanjia yours. Singing Sama Sanjia yours. Jusen Garisana. And the Samala Iji Shiba Dang, Ishiba Devamarugan Duas, what they need to Sanjig readers. Shajaman Buddha, Iji Shiba, Iji Shiba Devamarugan Yudan, Sanjivares, Nasule Tayuar, Kalejana, and then Nasukanga Sanjivares.
So all of us have Buddha. That's a very literal translation of a statement. Sometimes they use a lot more words, but it's literally how it's translated. All of us, all sentient beings have Buddha. And just as a translator's note, because I'm using a literal translation, that doesn't mean that we have this Buddha that's waiting to be uncovered. It means the following, and now this back to Rinpoche's commentary. All sentient beings have what is called Buddha nature or Buddha potential, because we have these two types of potential. a developing potential, and then the actual natural potential. So the developing potential is the mental consciousness itself, and the the natural potential is the lack of true establishment of the mental consciousness. So when we say, why do we state that we have Buddha? We state we have Buddha because we have Buddha nature. We have Buddha potential. This potential is the mental consciousness and the lack of true establishment of the mental consciousness. Everyone has this. All sentient beings have Buddha potential. Hindus have Buddha potential. Christians have Buddha potential. Those who say bad things about Buddha have Buddha potential. So all sentient beings have this Buddha potential because all sentient beings have a mental consciousness, and this mental consciousness is not truly established, is not inherently one way or another, inherently existent. So therefore, it can be Buddha. So this potential means that it can be. We can be Buddha. So that's what this means. This Buddha potential or Buddha natures means we can be Buddha. So Buddha Shakyamuni was exactly like us, and was in cyclic existence and suffering. But the thing that we have in common with Buddha Shakyamuni is that he has a mental consciousness, and Buddha Shakyamuni's mental consciousness is not truly established. So therefore, as a note, Buddha Shakyamuni, when he was Prince Siddhartha, had Buddha nature or Buddha potential. So therefore, because Buddha Shakyamuni had a mental consciousness and that mental consciousness was not truly established, therefore it could become Buddha, which became Shakyamuni Buddha from Prince Siddhartha. So all sentient beings possess this potential. Digsun Rinpoche.
That's how you go to Juka. Taji Chembi Shen, Hiji, Sawali Shuma, Shaju, Sanji Juli Shuma, Taji Parutishima Inos, Gore Babale, what the song swan. Taji Chembi Shed, and then Hiji Sawali Shumaris, Hiji Chembi Sawali Shumaris, Shaju, Sanji Juli Shumaris, Taji Parutishima, Shendu Imba, Shendu.
That's so.
Hiji and Shaju Senda, Shendu Nyala, Jagina, and the Gasan Sanji Tugres, Hama Sanji Gangalo. What the Hinja Shaku said, Shidu Yasulaba, then Sanji Ores, Masu Tinya Lechina, Kagasanji Ores.
So how is this Buddhahood achieved? How can this happen? How can one be transformed into this state? So it says, if you ask, what are the causes and conditions of the final fruit of omniscience? So we look at this final achievement, this achievement of Buddhahood, and how does it occur? What are the causes and conditions that make this happen, this transformation happen? And we find in Kamala Shila's Stages of Meditation the point made. If you ask, what are the causes and conditions of the final fruit of omniscience? I, who am like a blind man, may not be in a position to explain myself, but I shall employ the Buddha's own words just as he spoke them to his disciples after his enlightenment. He said, Vajrapani, Lord of Secrets, the transcendental wisdom of omniscience has its root in compassion and arises from a cause, the altruistic thought, the awakening mind of bodhicitta, and the perfection of skillful means. Therefore, if you are interested in achieving omniscience, you need to practice these three: compassion, the awakening mind of bodhicitta, and skillful means. So here, the meaning of this is, if one wishes to achieve Buddhahood, there's necessary causes and conditions that will create this final fruit of omniscience. So the previous Buddhas relied on these practices, the current Buddhas relied on these practices, and the future Buddhas will rely on these practices. And what is meant by these three are the following. So it says, practice the three, compassion. So it states that compassion is the root, and then from compassion, couple that with the awakening mind of bodhicitta, the mind that aspires to enlightenment. And then, once there is this compassion that is the root, and the generation of the mind that aspires to enlightenment, engage in, it says, skillful means, which is the practice of the six perfections of generosity, ethics, patience, perseverance, concentration, and wisdom. So by practicing the three, compassion, bodhicitta, and the six perfections, one will be able to achieve the final fruit of omniscience or Buddhahood. Digson. So if compassion is the root, what is compassion? Compassion is the wish that may all sentient beings be free from suffering or separated from suffering and its causes. So this is what compassion is, this wish that all sentient beings be free from all types of suffering and their causes. Decent. Less so. As compassion at its root is the root, and compassion is wishing that all sentient beings have causes, have happiness, and be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. This is compassion. When we turn it towards our inwardly and wish that we be free from suffering ourselves and the causes of suffering, then this is what transforms our continuum into our mind into the mind of a renunciation, a desire to definitely emerge. This desire to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering then becomes renunciation. When we turn that towards others and wish that they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, that's compassion. So we have to, though, first generate this desire to definitely emerge for ourselves. This is what has to happen first, because it's not possible for us to think of others' suffering if we haven't thought of our own. And then if we look at Shantideva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, or the Bodhisattva Aryachara, it states that how can we think of others' suffering if we haven't even dreamt of our own? Something to this effect. How could we, I'm not sure if it's how could we even dream of others' suffering if we haven't even thought of our own, or vice versa. How can we even think of others' suffering if we haven't even dreamt of our own situation? It's something to that effect. I was trying to find it. I never really accomplish it in class and then find it right after. But it really shows the necessity of generating this desire to emerge for yourself in order to then wish that others can or will. Digsung Rinpoche. Seni anjar sunan the ngudujen seni gari laps the chanchu je sen
jole shwa chanchu sen shwa sana senje tanje don zu sanju ko to ba shawo nyabe sen cheba jen shila chanchu je sen seres.
Okay, yes.
chanchu sen de la ni yo res sen de ju sen kan de se jagar sana chanchu sen be don ba ma tu gong ge chanchu sen de 현세레스 샤주 선배도 뭐 투자도 샤주 선배 조선인스
Tuche.
yeah.
So then we have this, we said the root of compassion, and then coupled with the mind that aspires to enlightenment, or bodhicitta. So if someone were to say, posit bodhicitta, or show me what is bodhicitta, posit bodhicitta, you would say, the desire for perfect enlightenment for the benefit of others. So this is what bodhicitta is. It's a desire to become a Buddha for the sake of sentient beings, for the benefit of others. So just as a translator's note, this is from the ornament, Maitreya's ornament for clear realization, where we find that definition. So it is this desire to become a Buddha for the sake or for the benefit of others. And if we divide the bodhicitta, or the mind that aspires to enlightenment, we divide it into two categories: aspiring bodhicitta and engaged bodhicitta. Aspiring bodhicitta is any bodhicitta or mind that aspires to enlightenment that has been generated and is bodhicitta, but does not have the vow, a bodhisattva vow. So the person has generated within his or her own mental continuum this Buddha mind, or bodhicitta. Literally, bodhicitta translates as Buddha mind, because bodhi is Buddha, chitta means mind. So we kind of stretch it out and say the mind that aspires to enlightenment, because Buddha mind is very easy to misunderstand if we say that, because it seems like you make, putting the minds together or something, and that's not what's happening. It's an aspiration that you have to become a Buddha. So this mind that aspires to enlightenment can be aspiring. If it's inspiring, then it means that practitioner has bodhicitta but has not taken a bodhisattva vow. Engaged bodhicitta is the bodhicitta that exists once the bodhisattva vow has been taken. So once the bodhisattva vow has been taken, that bodhisattva then is engaged, has engaged bodhicitta. Digsung Rinpoche.
다 터지 버리듯이 심바이는 터도 가내자고서나 터도 신도를 자그래서
Less so.
신도를 손나고 소다 이식 손이 인식고 그래서 손 이식 소도 돈이 도비 싫어데 이식 소 근데 제 라마
Kali Rinpoche. The Yanja Suranangi.
돈이 도비 싫어데 이식 소지
Okay. Yeah.
근데 다 진발라서 비젠다가 요로 나데 손나고 소리스
Jendanga lesso. Lando.
손나고 소리스 란도로와
Lesso.
싫어 바로 신봉비 네 진비 바로 신라서 자와나지 타우스시스 싫어 돈이 도비 싫어 마임비 신도 젠나보데 네 자와 찾아 도발라서베 터인 송요아레스 터임이 전에 가르스나 손나지 소임베셔 손나지 소인데 초도 주권이 저는 또 조글라진 주인 배서 어떤 송대서
The Tama Yanja Suranang? Sanangi so Yinde Ale.
지발라서 싫어 파신 마임비 지발라서 파신 도망가 요로와
Lesso.
어떤 손나지 소레스
Lesso.
주생 가르스나 초도 주권이 저는 또 조글라진 주지 리스네 바 임베서
Ale. Okay.
돈이도 비셔라데 시소인데 초도 주권이 나는 또 죽을라진 주지 리스네 바 임베서 어떤 송대서
Lesso. So the third part of this, it says compassion at its root. Then it says bodhicitta, the mind that aspires to enlightenment. And then it says skillful means. And this is referring to the six perfections. So the six perfections are necessary because they give rise to the two collections. So in order to become a Buddha, one needs to have the collection of exalted wisdom and the collection of merit. So in order to become a Buddha, these two collections must be fulfilled. So how do the six perfections create these? So we look at Atisha's lamp for the path to enlightenment, where it shows how we divide these. It says, apart from the perfection of wisdom, all virtuous practices, such as the perfection of giving, are described as skillful means by the victorious ones. So we divide the two collections into the collection of exalted wisdom and the collection of merit. So the collection of merit refers to, is created by any of those practices which are apart from the perfection of wisdom within the six perfections. So that means the first 5 of the 6 perfections create the collection of merit, and the final perfection, the collection of wisdom, creates the collection of exalted wisdom. So these 2 collections are necessary because they create the various bodies of the Buddha. So in dependence upon, they create the 2 bodies of the Buddha. So the collection of merit creates the form bodies of the Buddha, and the collection of exalted wisdom creates the truth bodies of the Buddha. So the wisdom realizing emptiness is that 6th perfection that creates the collection of exalted wisdom. So we have generosity, ethics, patience, perseverance, and concentration all fall under the category of the collection of merit. This collection of merit is called a collection of merit because it is within the lineage of that which gives rise to the form body of the Buddha. So it also qualifies as merit if it gives rise to the form body of the Buddha, because it means that it has fallen into the collection of merit, because that's the only way the form body is created. So it's the collection of merit that creates the form body. So it is considered a merit because it is within the lineage of that which gives rise to the form body. And then when we look at the exalted collection of wisdom, or the wisdom realizing emptiness and so forth inspires, we see that collection of wisdom creates the truth body. So how do we know that it is a collection of wisdom? How can we call this last perfection, how can we say that gives rise to a collection of wisdom? We know that this is a collection of wisdom if it is within the lineage of that which gives rise to the truth body of the Buddha. So it qualifies as a collection of exalted wisdom if that collection gives rise to, is part of giving rise to the truth body of the Buddha. So when we divide these these bodies, this is a translator's note, we have the form body. The form body is broken down into 2 categories, the enjoyment body and the emanation body. The truth body is broken down into the 2 categories, the natural body, and then the wisdom body and the natural body, I believe. One is the actual permanent cessation, and the other is the omniscience of the Buddha. One is which is impermanent, in that it's thinking and moving. I think that's everything. So we know that we can call this a collection of merit if it gives rise to the form body. And how does the form body created? By a collection of merit. We know it's a collection of wisdom if it gives rise to the truth body. How is the truth body created? By the collection of wisdom. Digsong Rinpoche, Kanga Lhasa.
Raju meje pashin to the Shenju meje duyu ngobaje. Shenju meje duyu ngobaje the leg doa. Jit shows not on Jimba. Jimba je. And the Jen Jimba Tamba in the Jen Gabaje. Jimba je. Then Heba Ma, Kisha Nyembushi Ures.
Oh, I see. Lamrim Chenmo, Gonga Mebachi. Okay.
That dues ten daughter. Do I jet shows and a Jimbaji,
Lesso.
and then Heba Ma,
Ale me mawa.
Tun Shubaji, Tun Tumba. Jen Churunde is in Lava de Susu Yalanji,
Lesso.
Jena Duajes, and what the Jibaina Duja Jen Pendugo.
Lesso.
Jimbaji, Heba Ma, Tun Shuba Tun, Jete water, Jenju Meji doing obages, Jen Jimbatan, Kisha Nyembushi, and then Jen Churun water, Tony Gungur, Tender Laba de Laba Naji Susu Tony Gun, what the Nyalaji Ures, Tenshu Tantini, what is Jetele, Jenju Meji doing obages in that doing obage.
Lesso.
That time Jimba de Chuji Jimba, Sanzing Jimba, Menji Jimba, Song Marbe. Chuji Jimba Nato what the that Chushi de our Chuji Jimba Sawajirota. Chushi is an Ejimiji Tungo de Guayamare, Susu Kanu Gajanam Jiba Inaya, what the Chuji Jimba Renugo, Marbe.
Kandun Re.
Kanu of the Jiba Ina, what the Nieda, what the Mama in the Tanamu Yogoro.
Ale me da me maimba.
On the Sul Penton.
Ale lesso.
Yeah, Chuji Jimba.
Lesso. Zanji.
Sanzing Jimba doesn't go Sayatan, Jimatan, the Rawa. Then the Menji Jimba, and then what the Jibal Jad Marbe.
Lesso.
Senji Chun, Montatan du Langa and Senjan Duna, and the Co Senjan the Mazabajin to Yuba in the Menji Jimba Marbe.
Lesso.
What they inside it. Then double things was it.
Okay, so now we move to the great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment, and we're looking at the 4 ways to gather disciples. So what are the 4 ways to gather disciples? So first, generosity. So by engaging in generosity, this makes the students like you. Like when you're generous to someone, they generally like what you've done and like you. So the first is being generous or generosity. The next is using pleasant speech, speaking in a pleasant way, giving teachings in a way that is easy on the ears, like it sounds nice, literally. It sounds sweet, the way that it sounds sweet on the ears. Working at the aims is working for whatever Rinpoche, this Sumba, the Dondagare. Yomar, the Je, Jimba.
Jimba, Heba Mawaji,
Sumba?
Denshu,
de Gar.
Denshu, and then Suzuki Jendala, and then Churumataba Gungo Lani Yaleji was Lona. Jen Labana, Suzu Yaleji was Denshu. Jenda Lari Yaleji was Lona, Susu Yale Maji Yaleji was Lona Abu Marwa. Susu Yaleji, Jen let Lavina, Denshu.
Then
Heba Mawa. Denshu.
Cheek, Yamari, the Caviar.
Jimbaji, Heba Mawaji, Denshu, Jedro.
Ale, dun, ale. Then dunshu, the selpio.
Denshu, that is Jenda, that you know, Lari Yaleji was Shibala, Susu Yaleji was. Susu Yaleji, Denshu, Denshu. Jenda Chun Lari Yaleji was low, Susu Yale Majena Jego Marwa. Susu Yaleji, Jen Shibaina, Denshu.
Okay, and then the third working at the aims is correctly showing disciples the correct order as they've been presented. Here, let me just give me 1 second here. 463. Dulja Rinpoche? Gare.
Ah,
The Nyempo Mawa ni Dulja la Parshin
Heba Ma ne, Duja la, Pashin na Tunba Usa. Heba Ma se de wa de Yen Duja la, and Pashin, da Lamrim to Ma She at the road, Pashin to Tunba the Logres, da Heba Ma.
then the Parshin.
Da Pashin let the Jew party to Shimba and Ribi party to Shimba.
Okay, correct. Okay.
Jew party to Shimba, and Shanchu Sambi to Juge Pashin to so, and Jew party to Shimba. Jew party to Shimba in the Sanji Gumu Toji Pashin in Bezer.
So teaching those practices which will result in Buddhahood. So the perfection of wisdom, or the going to the other side, has two categories: causal perfection and resultant perfection. A causal perfection is that which gives rise to the result of actual perfection. So the practices that one engages in that give rise to the actual perfection. So this is what this third is this correctly presenting that which gives rise to Buddhahood, basically, the going to the other side, the aim of Buddhahood, and involving them correctly and taking that up. And then the fourth is consistency of behavior, meaning that if one is telling others, you should practice the teaching shared in common, the teachings for beings of three capacities, because it's important and they have good results. If you are telling others to do this, you should be practicing it yourself. So this is what the consistency of behavior is practicing what you are, I hate saying preach, but it's practicing what you are teaching and presenting to your students, actually practicing it. So this is the fourth category, consistency of behavior. Tuchena.
Da Tunshuba Niro, Tunshuba ne, Chetat Nebi Tenal La. Duja Shudu Yuban, Yantaba Lenton Juba was Tunshuba said, and the Larin Damado, the Jean Duja Shin and Larin Yalenje was Tumba the Logres. Shuba ne, that then be Tenal La. Duja la Shudu Juba, Yantaba Lenton Juba was. And also the Larinia Lecce was shared to the Red Water and the Juba. Tuntuba ne, Jena, Tunkala, Jawa, Tela, Ryan, Nene, Teta Tuba, Luba de, Luba de Cigarettes, and the Jen Larinia Lecce was law, Susan Lamajin Jigamarina Lecce was what the Jeba in the Tunshu Tuntuin Town is. What the song is.
Generosity is as earlier explained in the section on this perfection. So it was previously explained in detail. You can look back there. Pleasant speech is teaching the perfections to the disciples. Working at the aims is setting disciples to work on the aims as they have been taught, or involving them correctly in taking up these aims. And then consistency of behavior is stabilizing yourself in the very aims in which you have established others, and then training in them. So for instance, if you're teaching, saying you should practice the three capacities, you should, the person saying it should be practicing those three capacities. So that's the meaning of this. So I just want to clarify something. Generosity is as explained earlier. The pleasant speech is the actual teaching of the perfections. So it's the teaching of the perfections in a pleasant way. So part of the pleasant speech that qualifies it as pleasant speech isn't just the nice way of saying it and the pleasant way of saying it that's easy on the ears. It's the topic, the subject matter as well. It's pleasant, meaning the perfections, teaching the perfections. So that within this particular within this particular pleasant speech, the meaning of this pleasant speech means that it is the teaching of the perfections in a pleasant way. And then 3 is making sure that you're teaching in the graduated fashion, the proper way that will allow the disciples to achieve the aims, which are perfection, to achieve Buddhahood. And then if you're teaching the beings, teaching students a certain way and saying this is how you achieve these aims, you should be practicing them yourself. Okay, Selpachasa. So who said this? We find it in the Maitreya's ornament for the Mahayana Sutras.
Dudu jeng suwa tere duwa, jinsun te tuen lemba dans jimba che. Tene dani jesun ju na che, henpa ma jen la she du tene, kecha henpa chen tuen wu res, pa shin la suba. Henpa ma wa tang, tuen shue tuen tuen. Ane su su nyalan che jen le she ba ina, ane tuen shue tuen tuen nye duwa te nyi teres. Tuen tuen nye tuen duwa in she soos. Okay,
so we find the quote from Maitreya, ornament for the Mahayana Sutras, that says, generosity is the same as before, teaching the perfections, involving others in taking them up, and involving yourself, are asserted to be pleasant speech working at the aims and consistency of behavior, respectively. So here we see generosity is the same as it's always been taught. Teaching the perfections is the pleasant speech. Involving others and taking them up is the working at aims. And involving yourself is consistency of behavior. So then Maitreya points out that these are the 4. The 4: generosity, pleasant speech, working at aims, and consistency of behavior. Geshe Rinpoche.
Da nipa terendo, da nipa chi shir, du jing ngai shi nas, doa jidala ji ngai bi jusen kararis, jusen ngai shi na, ko gawa la, ja yu shir, du ba la ne, Toma te ga gulas, ko gawa liya goya ge, ane ngoy bala tambo, ane ko duja de gabu mena yung mara, gabu gugures. Toma te ga gulas, te yan chungzi shanjin ki jimba shina, te yan jimba tala chuji jimba, shanjin ki jimba, manjibi jimba sunga na ne, shanjin ki jimba shina, shine, le la pendo bala tu sos sanjing jimba shene le la pendo ba ina an duja gabu yures. What the tambo sanjing jimba ke chures.
That's good. That's Jor Jason. Okay, so now we move on to the reason they are stipulated as 4, and I left something out from before, and it's going to apply to this. So it clicked that I had forgotten to translate it. So when we divide generosity can be divided into 3 categories: generosity of dharma, material generosity, and the generosity of fearlessness, or giving fearlessness. So the first category, generosity of dharma, is literally giving teachings, teaching the dharma to others, teaching Buddhism. The second category, material generosity, is giving material things, being generous with money, food, drinks, things of this nature. The third category is giving fearlessness, or generosity of fearlessness. So this is, for instance, if you're driving down the road and an animal comes out and you actively try not to hit that animal, and you don't, you actively swerve or stop, And that is giving fearlessness, or giving fearlessness. And last time Rinpoche gave the example of moving a bug out of the water that's drowning. So this is a generosity of fearlessness. And then the third is, that was it, sorry. That's the third. Then here it says, now we get into the reason they are stipulated as 4. So there's a question. It says, why are the ways of gathering disciples set as 4? So why aren't they 5? Why are they 3? What's the reason for setting them as 4? So it says, reply, in order to gather a following of disciples for the sake of establishing them in virtue, they must first be pleased. This, moreover, depends on your giving them material things and providing benefit to their bodies. Thus, please, they first must know how to okay, there it is, providing benefit to their bodies. So this is that first category of generosity. So this is number 1. So it says, why are there 4? So Lama Tsongkhapa is replying and saying, well, it's the stages of things that happen here when you're gathering a disciple or you're gathering students. So the first is that if you're generous, then they're pleased. They like you. They like that. And as a result, and it says benefiting their bodies. So if you give some food or drink, if someone doesn't have that, then that makes you feel good. Benefit body means you feel good, makes them feel good. Then if they're pleased, then they're going to want to maybe listen to what you have to say. Is it okay, the sound? Okay. So they're going to want to hear what you have to say. And just as a translator's note, I know that Westerners have often looked at this and said, oh, it just seems like a con or something to get students. And the point here is this is out of love and compassion, because you want people to be free from suffering, and you know how to make them free from suffering. But if they don't listen to you, they don't like you, you can't help them. So this is all from compassion, because you want to help, and the only way you can help is if there's no magic, there's no wand you can wave. You can teach, and that's how you help. So I wanted to make that note, because it's misinterpreted a lot, even when we hear the commentary and read it. And this is just out of the force of love and compassion that one would want. No one's a teacher unless they have that. So this doesn't apply to a charlatan gathering a disciple. This applies to a teacher who has something very valuable to give the world, and how to get the world to listen to that. So that's it. That's the first one. Next, Dene, Jimbatsar.
Doa je gandes tanga barazina. Niba chi shir doa je nanshe nas.
Lessa.
Ko gwala jai shir dubala toma gagula sa.
Less.
Ane duja doa de lango bala toma ko gabu mane umares.
Lapsar.
Gagula. Te asanzin ki jimba shine lo la pen dubala tuso. Te gane la jola toma. Te jeta shatu shegos. Lan jola kun deba kariyo ba no de shegures. Shatu shegulas. Te heba mayu chujebe meshebatan tazon sawa tone. Tön shinji maluba zendun jobi shirosa. Ane tada heba mayu chujebe ina. Ane meshebatan tazon sawa tone. Ane tön shinji maluba la dine ya titugres. Zendun jobi shiro. Tadara sheba na tön shebe tön jubala juba shela tön rangi madu na jela judu chetar shagusu sheba na chiraya tön madu na jela tudu shechi shirmas suzun yale majiba jel das sheba ina chunu nyale jegu bundu ngal karshi ayor logres da chiraya tön de madu na jela de duje chi shirma chöjang dadong yenji jugu so she senesa ne rudu menye lasa susu nyale maji yen she ba yina ne yen ka nye ga mares chuno nyale maji ne ngasu lo de ne she na karse o de she ga sa menye la rangi druba shi yina rangi druba shi yina la nyale rangi nyale je ba yina
That's so.
다자 간라 준비 거왔더라 쿠란야 내가 제베나 듣주나 다자라 팬바다 대원 중에 인하네스 너 그런 워드냐래 제가도 다드네 그ኛ래 제바 나지데 가서 제나 비정 가서라 팬 그래서 봐 상루코 그래서 냐네 사도 스레 조진 수 심벌 나자 모두바 템바주 telane tentuba gubishedeza anwade potential de transuna anwade quad tembe yongores tembo dajala phemba da dewanju akunyale jegando de ngatwe nyale jegena ngatul phegu yoban drasan jungen hane sadun jojin shu simba naja moduba ana la nyale she tsaba dugu mares temba juyu tene tentuba gubi wote tentuba gechebres susu nyale je she wote gechebres gubi shede phemba shebi tadane zeba shedan joje dan tejin jeso josheba düyungobu jishisha shizo dendo de jenjiro da ya wodi konding sare
Döde jensar? Şu losar?
wodi ba jinba
Okay.
phemba shebi tadane zeba shedan joje dan tejin jeso josheba düyungobu jishishas düyungobu dodejen kontu redwa
Doing opposite sheso. Okay. So then it says that once the person is pleased, okay, so now you have a student who is happy, likes you, is pleased. It says then, that is to say, here we go. Thus pleased, they first must know how to connect to the path. So, okay, now what is there? What's the whole reason for this? What is there to say? That is to say, by using pleasant speech to explain the teaching, you cause them to cast away ignorance and doubt, and then to correctly apprehend the aims. So, by using pleasant speech, you allow them to understand, get rid of the ignorance that doesn't know about the potential Buddhahood. So you get rid of that and any doubts, because you're presenting things with scriptural authority and logic and reasoning. You're casting any doubts aside because you're utilizing this. So you're casting these away. So they want to hear what you have to say, and then what you are saying is important. It's about the perfection vehicle, or the specifically teaching the perfections to the disciples. So it says, once they have understood these, you cause them to accomplish virtue by working at these aims. So now that you've explained these, you've enticed him, if you will, about the potentials, then you explain how the potential can be how you can arrive at that potential. You explain that these things are possible, and then you show the student exactly how to do it, how to make that which is possible occur. And then it says once once they have understood these, you cause them to accomplish virtue by working at these aims. So they then begin to work at these. And however, if you have not accomplished virtue yourself, when you say to others, you have to engage in this, you have to reject that, they will say, why do you tell others accomplish this aim when you do not accomplish it yourself? You still need somebody else to correct you. So it's saying like, how if you need someone to correct you and you aren't doing what you're telling us to do, why should we do what you say? And then Rinpoche was laughing. I don't know if when you saw he was laughing when he was reading it. He was laughing about this. If you need somebody to correct you, why are you calling yourself an authority on this matter if you can't do it? So they will not listen to what they will not listen to what they have to practice. So you've presented what's correct even, but they're not going to listen to you because you aren't implementing it yourself. It looks fake, like a hypocrite. But if you are practicing yourself, they will think this person is established in virtue to which he or she is leading us. So we will definitely derive benefit and happiness if we accomplish it. So as a role model, you're acting as the teacher should be someone who you are following in terms of practice and so forth. And you can't do that if the teacher, him or herself, isn't actually practicing. So there's a connection to your following a practice and the person giving you that advice following that practice. There's some connection there. They then either engage in it anew, or for those who have already engaged in it, do not reject it and become stable in it. So for this, you have to be consistent in your behavior. The ornament of the Mahayana Sutra says, so here we have a quote again from Lord Maitreya. Know from the ornament for the Mahayana Sutras, know the ways to gather disciples to be for. A method to give benefit involving others in comprehending the teachings, involving them in engaging, and likewise involving yourself. So here, this is just reiterating what Lama Tsongkhapa has presented, and Lama Tsongkhapa is showing source material for what he has presented. Diksan Rinpoche.
다 somba 들어와 뒤지 뭐 담아지 제자부 주선 예바지 뒤지 실레 들어도와 도와지 실레 도와지 실레 가려 알잖아 somba 도와지 실레네 도와지부터 두자라 지시를 해봐 인시나 진배네 추시 네배 너도롱하셔도스 도와지가 나네와데 진바되고와데 두자 추네배 너도롱하셔 그래스 추네알 가버지 그래스 너도롱하셔데 제바불라 가와시 비셔로사 안 추싱에들 가버용 그래서 해봐 마이네 대자유 추들라 매바셔 대자유 추들라 안 가버용 그래서 매바셔버데 매바르셰데 전에 시다도 셰바셰진 특종주비셔로사
Rinpoche, chuk kabiare. Gonga mepachi.
다게 되는로잖아. 야.
Jipja jusun
조조래송.
Greson
조조래송 거든 말이야.
Gola Somba.
손바 들어.
Okay, go
유지 실례래.
The Somba Duaji
실례. 유지 실례.
Doljala Shik Jepa Yin
손바
Shino.
도와줘보. 저번에 두자라 지시를 해봐 이시나스.
The
두자를 팬도 가르쳐 그랬어. 진배네 추년비 너도로 하셔도 진바 당와대 그거데 추년비 너로 그랬어.
Okay.
제바보 가시비셔로스. 어디 제바보라 가봐용 그랬어.
Lessa.
가이셔로. 해봐마이네 대제 유튜브들라 뭐바시에서 gabuji gresa meba sheba de tuan de shira de sheba shejin tazong jubi sherosa tuan de sheba shena wata tazong jubi sheros tuan shebi nesa susu nyala je ane jen la sheba ina tuan shebi ne tenba jen ruba shedos ane susu nyala je jen la tenba ina ku tenba jen na jen wata jen nyala je gres tuan shebi tenba jen ruba shedo tuan tenbi ne susu nyala je jen la sheba ina shebi ne shoba de maduba yuan renpo ruba shebi shede sa ne wate nyala shoba de dogma res ruba shebi shede tuanbi henju ngobo de nyeba yene meba she somba yene jimba de ruba de jebe naba yunwa wos jebe naba yunwa wos dat kondre doa tuanbi 현롱 시에서 너 임바동아 되게 추녀빈 현롱 시그래서 현주는 거부터 니바이는 마바이 임바 된슈 된된 어다 니바이는 마바이 출을 마바이 그래서 손바이는 주바데 지유 나바 용화시 셰소사 어디
Okay, so now we have their functions. What are the functions of these four? What do these four ways to gather disciples do for the disciples? Then the response is, generosity makes them fit disciples to hear the teaching, for it makes them happy with the person who explains it. Pleasant speech makes them take interest in the teaching that is to be given, because it gives them a detailed understanding of the aims and dispels their doubts. Working at the aims makes them practice in accord with what they have been taught. Consistency of behavior makes those who have engaged in the teachings not reject them, but practice for a long time. So here we have these four presented with the reason for these four, and they're ultimately to accomplish the student being stabilized in practice. So then we have another quote from Lord Maitreya's Ornament from Mahayana Sutras. It says, by the first they become vessels. By the second they take interest. By the third they practice. By the fourth they train. So here it's just showing training is like this very stable form of practice. So it's just showing how it goes from interest, having an interest in what is being said, to implementing it in a stable way, basically. So beginning with someone who doesn't know of this point. Digsun.
Da jiba chungze jiba shiba dredwa jiba. Duji ngon tangpa je, jusen nipa je, duji shile sompa je, ko duba la tenpe guba sompa je, chungse jiba shiba jiba tere dwa, chungse jiba shiba, jiba nes, duja kun je tuyan ruba, guja kun tuyan ruba tang, ta zambo, sanje na je sompe nas, déjà quand tu t'en trouves tas en de changer son horaire son bena ko de banaje de la tengude ko de banaje ne ko de banaje wa de duji del ten ke chobres tengude ko de ba dans demba nas ko de ba dans demba na chunde la ne yanda den kun ji den kun roje jin 타전 임바 라도가 셰소사 다중세 제바시바도 데레도아 제바 되자 군지든 루바다 타전으로 사제나지 손베나스 코드바 나지 나와데 두질 내가 계시브레스 데라 땡구데 코드바다 데바 남 코드바다 데바나 춘들라네 야다 댄스 코드바나지 와데 두질 내게나 배도 쳐보는 거래서 근지도 근 루시진 타장이 바라도가 셰소스 중세 제바시바도 들에도
So the,
가자 코드바데바 와데 중세 제바시바
so we have then these 5 categories. We've gone through the 4 ways to gather disciples. The second, the reason they are stipulated is for. The third, their functions. And now the need for those who gather a following to rely on them. So because the Buddhists have declared these 4 ways to gather disciples to be what achieves all aims of all disciples and to be the superb method, those gathering a following must rely on them. The ornament for the Mahayana Sutras states, those involved in gathering a following rely on this means. It is praised as a superb method, achieving all aims for all. This is, again, the motivation is achieving all aims for all. So the reason for gathering these disciples. And then one needs to rely on this way. Decent.
다 나바 중세 제바시바들바 나바네
Nyemala Nile.
나바네 중세 제바시바딘 바레 나바네 헤말라 니레스 헤바마드라 니요레스 지데지 순다 덴비 헤마네 춘예매진 진지 나세와 노바 헌도 땅데 네 칸도와라 소바 지데지 수지 세제남 거르시바오사 단 해바마라 니레 지데지 수도 되비 해바마도 간데르스나 춘이 매진 진진당 세와 가부제노 와드진 그자치 고레스 나 좀바 헌도 땅데 칸도와라서 차베나서 사다다 너도 간주 기자 해보시야요로 칸도와라 소바 지데지 취지 세제나 가시바오사 기자 해보시는 세제 가위로다
Less.
야 답이 최대바다 냄비 해만네 야 답이 최대비고는 해봐마도 간다자고 그러잖아 덴데레스 대바도 최진다 퇴바다 동안다 싫어 제바 술레 짠데 팬바다 디셔도 세전라 최대바 오사 야 답이 최대바다 덴비 해봐마 덴데자고 그래서 대바다 최진다 퇴바다 동안다 싫어 제발라 수발 짠데 팬바다 디셔도 최대바 들어와데 해봐마 니바데레스 동안다 싫어 제바 술레 짠네 팬바다 디셔도 세전라 최대바오 란스비 달라 헤메비 센지 펜비 치 조바단사 란스비 달라 란스여켄게다 소스여켄게 다달라 네 쮸메비 센지 펜비 치 조바사 란스여켄게 다이나야 텔레트네 쮸메비 케첸 쳔부시고레스 치 조바단스 Ambashindu dua la yi cheba meba. Ambashindu dua la yi cheba meba. Jua dandu lane, chuji dan jogujin, gwan zedun juba dans, senjen yuju jin, ken lu sula mashins loshins loju shebala shedan mebe penbi chijubi heba mawa chi kawa na la ya loba dans ju mami bala Driba Pongwata, Dendu Jibi Shedo, Haru to Shayu, Chui Jibatan, Sutinji Tan Shebatan, Jum Hiba Shebatan, Trashin, Saint Nyan Dewadan, Dembala, Yan Puji, Chupabi, Dembajitamba, Chimbatan Rado, Shua Ba Meba Nam Pavela, Gubishir Kuwadan, Tudun Shua Nam, Sei Shedo, Chu Chijin, Bedan Shebane, Heba Mayu Goza. What done my dad the garson to do?
The
Ranso be Dalai, then what the Kisha Duja Loju Mares. Ranso be Dala, maybe Sanji, Pembi Sijo Gures. Ombushin to Duala, each of them Ombushin to Duala, and the church in each of Kalikano and Jeju Mares, Kalimabajina, Yavish Gures. Lana, Chuji, Dan Jujin, Gwan into Jubas, at the way you can sola, or the Chukisha, Gwali and Go Res, Jubatan.
That's so.
Senja Ujin, Kanlu Sola, Flushing, Luju Sheba, La Shedam Meba, Pembi, Ti Jubi, Hembama, Chikawa, Non Layan, Lubatans. Da Kanlu Sola, Uju than Jena, Luda Sheding and to Solea, and then Lola Joe Mares, Shedam Meba, Pembi, Ti Jubi, Hemba Mama, Chikawa Nalayan, and Nyalegend Luna Abijago Lugures, Ju Mami Bala, Deba Mwada, Dundu Jibishedo, Deba Mwada, Dundu Jibishedo, Hada Mali Gubuntu Bichedo, Harudo, Shayu Chu Jimbatan, Sutin Ji Tansheba, Jimbi Tansheba, Sutin Tansheba, Jum Hiba, Debatan Trashin, Jum Hiba Debatan Trashin, Saint Nyan Dewadan, Dembala, Yantaba Puji, Chui Papi Dembajiton, Danjiton Wars, then Dogan Papi Dembo, then the Kunju Papi Dembo, then the Guba Papi Dembo, then the Lam Papi Dembo, Danjiton Wars.
The mumble Lamrim. Okay, so now we move on to a somewhat elaborate explanation. So here it says there are two types of pleasant speech. The first pleasant speech associated with worldly customs means that you first assume a clear expression free of anger, give a smile, and then please living beings in worldly ways, such as inquiring about after their health, etc. The second type, pleasant speech associated with presenting the perfect teaching, means that you instruct living beings in the teaching for their benefit and happiness, beginning with teachings on developing faith, ethical discipline, study, generosity, and wisdom. The avenues of pleasant speech are as follows. To an enemy who would kill you, you say helpful words without a fault in your heart. With the very dull-witted, you willingly rise to the challenge, tirelessly giving talks on the teaching and causing them to adhere to virtue. So not getting frustrated, teaching it again and again out of patience and compassion, even if the person doesn't understand it because they're dull-witted, it says, or aren't intelligent. To devious beings who deceive their masters, abbots, etc., and engage in wrongdoing, you speak pleasantly with helpful words and without anger, teaching even the most difficult persons, in order that persons whose minds have not matured may eliminate obscuration and be reborn in happy realms. You give discourses to them on preliminary practices, generosity, and ethical discipline. To persons whose minds have matured, You are who are rid of obscuration and possessed of a joyful frame of mind. You reveal the foremost and perfect teaching of the Four Noble Truths. You encourage householders and renunciates who are careless to be conscientious. And to those who have doubts, you speak elaborately and explain the teaching to them to dispel their doubts. So here is just a series of advices on how one should properly teach the disciple. And what the differences are between pleasant speech in a worldly fashion and then pleasant speech in terms of the Dharma done specifically out of love and compassion. So it shows the differences. And then it touches on a few different points here. It talks about the Four Noble Truths. So it's saying that once you've gotten a student to the point where they're know of the aims and so forth, then you can present the Four Noble Truths. You reveal the foremost and perfect teaching of the Four Noble Truths. So once you get past this first, which was generosity, to put them in a joyful mind stream, then you give the teaching, which presents the Four Noble Truths. The Buddha stated at the first turning of the wheel, this is the superior truth of suffering. This is the superior truth of origin. This is the superior truth of cessation. And this is the superior truth of path. So this is what you then would move on to as the disciples become appropriate vessels for that information, or the student becomes appropriate. Disciples sounds so strange. The students become appropriate vessels for that teaching. Dixon. Lessa. 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 Lessa.
And doing them sana ngaso koage and hen the juk ngal the doing them ba lagre le da nyoma bon augustion yu ne ko dan hen ko ku hen da ju de so ngal doing them ba lagre doing ko
le nyomon gunjun dem le nyomon Yanjer Surinam, Korlo Yanjer Kosh.
Dunga Damba, Kunju Damba, Godan Lade Marba.
Lessa.
Ta Dunga Damba Sanang Azuke Pombutu Dunga Damba Marba, Dunga Damba. Dunga Damba, Ku Pombutan, Ku Hun to Dunga Damba Marba.
Lessa.
Since Jawata, G, Najan River Showers, since Jawata, Juji Sinja, and then Dunga Damba res. Then 지 내지 대바 샤오트 대사게 캄바도 사절라도 그걸로 동해 대바레스 동해 대바지 다 군주 대반데는 군주 밥이 대바 군주 대바들라 레지 군주도 녀모비 군주니 말바 대사 kontrol라서부터 수가 녀모비 군주 다 코앞에지 레지 군주 그래서 레지 군주 어디 요 레지 군주 Kunju Dembala, then Rebu Dunga Damba Chiguam, Junde.
Less so, okay.
Kunju Damba Jo, Dunga Daban Rebu.
Less so.
Landen Jo, Godin Rebu.
Less so.
10 days ago, that day.
Less so.
What to select inside? Then Dunga Papi Dembo, then the Kunju Papi Dembo, then the Goba Papi Dembo, then the Lam Papi Dembo, Dunga Shebasha, Kunju Moash, Goba Motusha, Dunga Shebasha, the Shebasha. Gunung Gobang Shames.
Bless her.
What then Kaji
Then Rinpoche Chiran the Dugyal dan Gunjun las Dunda Lason, the Goden dan Landen Dunda.
Goden Sana Landen Dan Nato Landen Netuji Tonlang Gulam Mululan Rajaji Tonlang Gulam Mululan Teji Tonlang Gulam Mululan what to go Landen Landen.
Less so.
Landen. Palang in the Landen, Charles Landen. Landen, Joshi Baladen, and no good then Toyungres, good then. Good then, Tende. Good then Toyungres. What the damage the Marba. Don't a puppy demo, don't go to puppy demo, don't go puppy demo, don't a long puppy demo. Don't a shivers, a conjo was, don't a shivure,
Less so.
nay, don't a jukunjo to Pongores.
Less so.
Go back on to the Langon, go back on to Shagore, go be to Jo, Landen Gongores.
Less so. Okay. Okay, so when the first turning of the wheel of Dharma was given in Varanasi in India, and the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths. So the first turning of the wheel of Dharma means the first time the Buddha gave a teaching. He turned the wheel of Dharma. So he stated that this is the superior truth of suffering, this is the superior truth of origin, this is the superior truth of cessation, and this is the superior truth of path. So here the Buddha showed us the two cause and effect relationships presented within the Four Noble Truths. We have the cause and effect relationship between the truth of suffering and the truth of origin, and the cause and effect relationship between the truth of cessation and the truth of path. So the truth of suffering is the cyclic existence and its inhabitants. The truth of suffering is the contaminated aggregates, the aggregates of cyclic existence. So if we were asking what is the truth of suffering, it would be the cyclic existence, the place, and its inhabitants, the people. So I'm a people, so I'm a truth of suffering. Why? Because I have contaminated aggregates. My parts aren't pure. My parts that come together to make me aren't pure, so I have contaminated aggregates. So that is what the truth of suffering is. What is the truth of origin? How does suffering come about? How does this lack of independence come about, this suffering that I can't have any control over? How does it come about? It comes about from karma and the afflictions. So because of the karma and the afflictions, those negativities give rise to suffering. And then the truth of cessation means that this all can stop. There's a way for all suffering to cease. And then the truth of path is how one makes that suffering cease. So the Buddha actually stated the Four Noble Truths in three different ways. He stated, this is the superior truth of suffering, this is the superior truth of origin, this is the superior truth of cessation, this is the superior truth of path. Suffering is to be understood, origin is to be abandoned, cessation is to be achieved, and path is to be relied upon. Then the Buddha stated that there is no suffering to understand, there is no origin to abandon, there is no cessation to achieve, and there is no path to rely upon. So the Buddha stated the Four Noble Truths in these three ways. He showed the cause and effect relationship between suffering and origin of suffering, origin being the cause of suffering, the cause and effect relationship between cessation of suffering and path, path giving rise to this cessation of suffering, and so when we say what is the truth of paths or true paths, it would be any of the Arya paths. So we have the three vehicles, the hearer vehicle, the solitary realizer vehicle, and the bodhisattva vehicle. Any among those three types of beings who are on the path of seeing, path of meditation, or path of no more learning. So those Arya paths, those superior paths. Any beings who are any of those pathways. I'm sorry, not beings, but any of those pathways within the continuums of those beings I just mentioned. So those beings who are superiors. So those pathways within the superior's minds. The path of seeing, the path of meditation, and the path of no more learning specifically. Digsung Rinpoche.
Oje tatana
Natsu the karma ni then
Yeah.
Truadan Lenjab.
Okay. That doing that doing the Tang go then so that later you mo ba go then so can ji US go ta. They just can say you are this na.
So is there a way, we say there is cessation. So then, is there a way then to get rid of karma and afflictions? Because we said that's what causes it, that's origin. So if we say there's a cessation, then that means there's got to be a way to get rid of karma and afflictions. Dene?
다 주는 대바 맞고 시비 돈이 도 싫어 만다 버렸어. 돈이 도 싫어 만다 버렸어. 돈이 도 싫어지 매 되네 레도 녀모 버터술 네네 갈래갈래데 세바들은 고된라 그랬어. 세바들은 고된라 그랬어. 나는 고된 차라 뭐 요아랬어. 토론 내서 고된 차라 뭐 토요 그랬어. 고된 당 아주 신지 문제자반 매 신지는 신매바 차는 거.
Leso.
더 나지 돈이 되게 예시지 매 네 동에도 동에 줄 뇌네 동에도 동에 줄 매바 차바들 고된 라 그랬어. 고된.
Leso.
Tendo mai de jula gisu sejoros what the one yeah.
So how does this occur then? How do we get rid of karma and afflictions? So it is the mistaken view that is at the root of karma, of afflictions, that gives rise to this wrong thinking. So the mistaken view that grasps at things as being truly established. So it is the fact, the non-mistaken view that phenomena is not truly established, that is the correct view that stops the arisal of the afflictions and so forth, which are caused by the wrong view. So it stops that once the correct view is there, because there's no more wrong view. So it's said that this wisdom realizing emptiness, the wisdom that realizes the nature of reality, is compared to fire. It's like fire that has the ability to burn away the suffering and its causes. And once the wisdom realizing emptiness is completely achieved, because there are many cessations that occur. We say cessation as this one final cessation of suffering, but there are many cessations of certain things that occur along the superior path, along the Arya path, cessation of certain levels of attachments and so forth, for example. So there are various cessations that occur, and the wisdom realizing emptiness is this fire that's burning away these things, these negativities, which then will eventually no longer be there. Just like when you burn a tree, eventually that wood burns till it's no longer there. In terms of as a tree. Likewise, this fire of the wisdom realizing emptiness burns away the mistaken view that grasps at things as being truly established, which then therefore burns the karma and the afflictions that gave rise to. Then true done. Then
Okay, that then then also mesana nasat meba chanu do.
Less so.
Then naji tuni to be shirot menda bres.
Less so.
They never shebala then later nyomo gabadan go then logres.
So the wisdom realizing emptiness is like medicine. Medicine stops disease. If we take right medicine, it cures ailments. The wisdom realizing emptiness cures the disease of the mistaken view. The Yanjasuranang.
Mesana nasa meba then do.
Less so.
Then naji tuni to be shirot mela then later nyomo sebat.
Okay, so it's like the medicine that cures the karma and the afflictions. The wisdom realizing emptiness is like the medicine that cures the karma and the afflictions. The way that medicine cures ailments, the medicine of the wisdom realizing emptiness cures the ailment of the karma and afflictions. Okay, so now we have time for question and answer period. Here we go.
Thank you. I was wondering whether the the Four Noble Truths are sort of understood by the realizing, the wisdom realizing the ultimate, or the wisdom realizing the conventional?
The Demba Ji, the Ngusun Sama Yuna, then they share up the Gunzub share up, Dundan share up, Dundampi share up, Kongi Triwa. The Demba Ji share up, the Dundampi share up, Gunzupi share up.
다 내가 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 군주 내가 라데 두비셔 somebody 군주 두비셔 레스 고데 두비셔 난 두비셔 레스.
So the wisdom, understanding
군주 내가 라데 손도 군주 내가로
the
두비셔 군주 두비셔 고데 두비셔 난 두비셔.
So it is said that the wisdom that understands the truth of suffering, the truth of origin, and the truth of path is conventional wisdom, and the wisdom that realizes cessation is ultimate wisdom. Decent.
Okay, so my question is, in Western, psychology, they refer to like the ego, right? So
I.
my question, yeah. So my question was, is that just basically the same thing as like
Rinpoche
cause?
doesn't have an understanding of Western philosophy, so how would I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd have to present what you think the I is in Western philosophy,
Right.
and then Rinpoche could tell you whether that is the same.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll have to think about it.
Okay. You know what I mean. In order to ask the question, I need the basis.
Yeah.
Pass the mic.
Yeah, hi. There's being a householder and meeting people who are curious about the Buddha, Buddhism, and Dharma. They might ask a valid question in sincerity. And as a householder, we have two choices. We can say, I think I understand this, but I can't answer it because I'm not a qualified teacher. Or we can say, I think I understand this, but I believe you should double check what I'm going to tell you. Which is the more correct thing to do as a householder?
Do you mean as a non-trained
None of
householder?
us-
Because you have householders,
Right.
like Milarepa was a householder.
Right, but none of us
You
here
know
are
what I mean?
qualified to teach. I mean, qualified as having gone through the monastic discipline.
Okay.
But I mean, people you meet will sincerely ask you things, and
Okay.
they're interested. Yeah.
Okay. The ngatsu the geshe yomare, ngatsu genye konsegdu, nga genye yen, nga leka la drodu, nga the drepong beit putisha nga lojing shemason, then geshe the lan drom chinmason, yene the nima dakpar itsansang, me kashe the chug triwa yure, dene gari yakshu. Ngatsu the geigen yomare, dene the triwa lenja yakshu, the lenja nga geshe yomare, nga chu sheda shingamare, den sunsan nga lenja tugumare. Gari yakshu. Lenja yene the denden yomare, lenja yomare. Gangin sena ngatsu geshe, ngatsu kepa yomare. Then me kashe triwa jana, ngatsu kepa yomare. Then chikshena junla.
저 개발해서 되는 인체당 그가 시그래 대토를 되는 출근해서 뭐 시고 뭐네 전라 계시긴 계신 나부 차도 알았어. 계시서 매 마다네 나버렸어.
Yene kale la, gangin sena the are la, the gegen mambo, chu hakogamare, then get you mambo yure, then kon luta tre. Then the are la, the jun chembo the yure. The gegen ducha mambo yure. The nampichu the machine ken, nampichu tree ken mambo yure. Dene gari, dene sheda shena lenja, geomari lenja. They kongi triwa. Gangi sene sansan the triwa sheda kali kapuldu. Then sano gari.
소소 렌저 두고는 렌저는 되거든.
Okay. So we can't say that we aren't scholars, or that as householders, as students, we aren't scholars. Many of you have attended this teaching for a very long time and have acquired the same information, have been presented with the same information for many years that those on the Geshe track would be presented with. So, for instance, those who have a degree already would be taught the same information that we have all been taught. So if someone asks you a question and you sincerely know the correct answer for sure, that you're not uncertain, then you need to answer the question. You should answer their question. You shouldn't say you're not qualified, because if you are qualified, because it's not true. You're qualified to answer the question if what they're asking, you can give the correct answer to. Because there is a correct answer, and there's a wrong answer, and there's a right answer. And if you know for sure that it's the right answer, then you should respond to their question and answer it. And you should know that we do have knowledge, and that we do possess knowledge if we've come here enough. We should. Some of us have been coming here 20 years almost. So it would be almost like lying to say I can't tell you. But if you don't know, you shouldn't say. If there's any doubt in your mind or uncertainty, you shouldn't say. So you are all similar to Geshes. You are getting these excellent qualities that Geshes get. And we're studying the same information, so if you're absorbing it and learning it, then we're all doing the same thing. It's just all labels. Geshe, layperson. But you're right. I explained to Rinpoche too, just to let everyone know that there's a big problem in the United States where unqualified teachers are getting students, and students don't know any better, so they're following these teachers. And I'll give you an example, and this is how scary this can get. There was a student who came here a number of years ago with mental illness. It's not important, the details of it, but they came here and Rinpoche gave them some robes because they were thinking of becoming ordained. They falsified a document that said that they had a permit from the Chenrezig Center, put the passport photo on it, put the robes on, went to California, told a bunch of people that they were Tulku and that Rinpoche had given them this special robes, and it was a robe that Tulkus get to wear. Because Namgyal monks wear the same robes Tulkus wear. So Rinpoche gave him a Namgyal robe, so it was very easy to say he had a Tulku robe. And he gave refuge, actually she, that's another part of this, it's a transgender situation, to 200 people in California. Completely unqualified, completely mentally ill, completely uncertain about the Dharma, and gave refuge vows. I had to answer a phone call and talk to someone who thought they had a guru because there was some questions that other members had who knew better about this person, and things weren't sounding right. And I had to break the news that they had put on an event for 200 people and had given refuge vows to 200 people that we had nothing to do with, and that all these people now, their spiritual monopoly had been messed with. That's how serious this stuff is. That's one example related to us, that we didn't do anything. We had nothing to do with. Somebody mentally ill took our information off a website and had information to tell. There are a lot of teachers out there doing this. There are a lot of people teaching Dzogchen that don't know anything about Dzogchen, teaching Mahamudra that don't know anything about Mahamudra, teaching Tantra that don't know anything about Tantra. You need to tear these teachers apart before you follow them, meaning, what do you know? Where did you learn it? How do you know it? What books have you studied? And then and only then to listen to them, because there are charlatans everywhere. And I think that that's really part of the question. And that is what I did tell Rinpoche. But he was basically saying, not in this room. So that's what he was like, what do you mean? We're not teaching that. We're not teaching wrong here. We've been 15 years straight teaching the Lamrim. So don't say we don't know the answers. Because if you've been here, you do. These are the right answers. They're not Rinpoche's answers. They're Buddha Shakyamuni's answers. All right, I'm done with my soapbox. Next question. It's just something I feel serious about, very serious about. And I've been going across the country, just seeing, and living in India, I've seen this craziest stuff being passed off as Buddhism. And it won't work. And it's going to make people sicker instead of well.
All right. So you have the practices that are common with beings of small capacity that lead to rebirths in the higher realms, correct? Yes. So if you have a being that's in a lower realm of cyclic existence and they're not able to engage in these practices, how do they reach a higher realm of cyclic existence?
Great question. The Dalai Ritu. Then Ngatsu Mayin. Then the Kashi Dendruyan, Kashi Yada Nyawa. Yine the Yada Dang Nyawa Dan Dendru. The Nampichu Lobjang She Tugumare. Then the Kandre Kon Meje. Kandre Kon Laje. Gangin Sena Kon Nampichu. The Lobjang She Tugumare. Kon Gewa Sa Tugumare. Then Kandre Jewa Sarpalen. Jewa Yarlen. Kandre.
sentient samag jol thoma me bores.
Lesser.
Sansan lo de malje or halje or trankha me ba. Oto kora khunyo bores. Ne sentel gwag baja na debi baja de bon yores.
Lesser.
Ne go baja yo to sansan dendul chigre sansan ne magi baja yo to ngandul chigre kora khudo gores marba.
In Rinpoche, the Kandre, the ki chikshena. Jewa Shema, the me je. The Kandre, gangin sena kon the ki gewa sama son. Then
chi go.
Then the chi le Kandre tsar. The Rinpoche, the menda, the nanka dangdrar, the chua.
Choku tsendil da ko gwa sa je maro.
Lesso.
Ku sen tu le ge ba ja mo go.
Lesso.
Ano ku ba ja ge ba ja se ne ya dendul chong.
Then the ki se kandre ka. Garshene the ki the mitapa in. Garshene ki dakbar yomare.
Chi se she sun na che zendro.
Garshene she. Garshene the chi garshene shigudu.
Ku jud zon da se ko shen.
The leitsar, the chi leitsar.
Chi je ge le di cha zon na de.
The nupatsar. Okay, the chi le nupatsar. Then a le.
Nupatsar ne sheken yo je ma chan ne sheken yo ro.
Okay, so there, we have had beginningless time. We've had rebirths. So we've accumulated virtue and non-virtue and neutral karmas since beginningless time. So every being, every sentient being has this in common, that they have this continuum that has existed since beginningless time and has, if they haven't purified the non-virtue, is virtue and non-virtuous imprints. Those imprints or seeds within the continuum are what give rise to our experiences. So everyone has hell realm karma, hungry ghost realm karma, animal realm karma, human realm karma, demigod and God realm karma in terms of imprints within our continuums. When the potential for the existence, the karma that's got a being in that specific existence wears out, like shooting an arrow in the sky and the arrow finally loses its power to keep going up, when that thing, that imprint that made the experience of, say, I was using dog with Rinpoche, made the experience of a dog happen, when that karma is no longer there for that because it's gone. The way you extinguish karma is the experience. Once you have suffering that's caused by non-virtue, you get rid of that imprint. It goes away. So the dog, for instance, then no longer has this karma as potent enough to keep him a dog. But they have all these other imprints that are there that can ripen into their next life. So, as the Buddha said, the karma is more difficult to understand than emptiness, because there's so many factors that would give rise. Maybe the dog at the moment of death was happy, so it had a joy for some reason. Maybe the owner was caressing it, and then it gave rise to some kind of condition that gave rise to a virtuous imprint. So like that. That's subtle. Maybe one more question or so?
Yeah, the
Get on.
path to emptiness, is meditation one of those paths? Is compassion another path?
Okay, so when you say...
or is there more than those paths to, or the thought of being empty?
okay,
Which
so
is
the...
another path. I'm just wondering all the paths to emptiness.
To realizing emptiness.
Yes.
Okay. Doni dopi sherap lam. Ninji doni dopi sherap lam. The domba need sanlodang doni dopi sherap lam. Lang nyune yomar. The nyamlen. Nyamlen.
다 돈이도 왜 싫어서는 다 가서 가서야지 누워서 가. 가서 근데 pomongala tuyne 주고 말이야. 마트 바랑아도 매버로. 라도 매버들 돈이 라도 그래서 돈이.
Then the true the doni kandre. Doni dopi sherap jugare. The jugare. Semche doni dopi sherap ju. Gare.
돈이도 왜 싫어가 조센.
The.
조센 몸서 안다나.
Less so.
내가 아주 대바 마루 텐데 임베세 tuyne 주바 임베세.
Less so.
tuyne 주바 인상 마트 바랑아도 요마데스.
Less so.
왜 라도 매서 둘 돈이 로고는 거.
Then a gom, doni dopi sherap Jew, gongi triwa, gom job.
돈이도 왜 고작은 돈이도 왜 싫어.
제건 주건, 니체.
매바 요로다.
Okay, so in terms of pathway or practices which lead to the wisdom realizing emptiness, the most important one is that using reasoning to understand it so that you eventually can see it. So using reasons, signs and reasons, such as things are not truly established because they dependently originate. So the wisdom realizing emptiness occurs from understanding it more and more and more intellectually to the point where you can realize it directly. So meditation does play a factor. There are things which give rise to the understanding of emptiness which aren't meditation, specifically meditation, but you would when you would engage in using a syllogism, for instance, the subject is not truly established because it dependently originates. So this would be a way that you would think that would then lead you to the realization of emptiness. So that thinking itself is the practice that gets you there. It's the thinking and the analysis of what it is that ultimately allows you to arrive at the wisdom realizing emptiness, which you need meditation for. To directly realize emptiness, as Rinpoche said last week, you need to have calm abiding and special insight. So you need analytical meditation and single-pointed meditation. But it's thinking, it's making the reasoning, and then being able to transform that reasoning into a single-pointed thought. I think I got everything Rinpoche said.
Not sure so not
So if we were
terrible.
So if we were to add, so the I, we say, is a collection of aggregates that come together that we then serve as a basis of designation for I. But there's no I that's separate, that's inherently existent like a soul, separate from that collection, which is a basis of designation that's named. So Rinpoche said, what would a scientist say the I is? We say the I is this collection of, what would the scientists say? Rinpoche is just putting it out there. Science. We're looking for the answer to this question. What would you say? Where is the I, or what is the I? We're trying to find the I. Meaning the ego. Yeah, the I. Where is it? What is it, science? We ask science questions a lot. They're going to show. They're coming. One day. All right, so concluding mandal offering and dedication prayer. And no, we don't have any specific scientists in mind. You know what's going to happen? The charlatan scientists are going to show up, and I won't know any different. Because I didn't study it. Maybe we should stop asking. All right. Just because they say they're scientists doesn't mean they're scientists. I could do that next week too. Hey guys, I'm a scientist now. All right. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Lobsang Drakpa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well, with whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times. I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness, all-powerful Avalokiteshvara, Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tuji Rinpoche Guti Shapi Denona.